Hey guys, welcome back. And thanks everybody for coming from the backup channel. Left the video over there. So welcome if this is your first time back on the daily live shows. Glad to have you. Give yourself a shout out if you came from the backup channel. Anyway, we're live every day as we always are, except for like Saturdays. I usually try to take a break on Saturdays. But there's so much going on in the world, you guys. We got to stay up on this stuff. It's kind of casual here. It's raw. It's real. This is why I like to go live, so you guys can kind of see the thought process behind how all this works and how we research. We do live research. It's just a really fun show on many days. And sometimes it's more serious. We're always finding just bombshell stuff and crazy happenings going on in the world. And today I think is going to be one of those days. So we're going to go ahead and get caught up. So obviously, Trump's at the top of all the trending headlines. He's the center of all the attention, which is, I think, is the way he kind of wants it. But, you know, we're entering an era now where what it means to be American, the face of America, is changing. And people actually believe that Trump is going to do away with income tax. That's kind of the latest thing that I've heard that he's talking about. We're going to break this down because here's what I think is really happening. If you haven't figured it out by now, Trump does make a lot of promises that he has not kept yet, ending the war and about 10 other things that he has promised that he was going to do within 24 hours that just haven't happened yet. And people, his supporters, are giving him time, giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying, oh, it would be far worse if we had Kamala Harris, that are still in the right-left paradigm, that are still asleep, not understanding that they're being manipulated. But here's what I think is really going on. I believe that Trump is just saying he's going to end the income tax so that he can soften the target to basically get people to accept what he just did, making the IRS cashless. Yes, the IRS has gone cashless. Now, does this sound like why would he make these changes if he was getting rid of the whole thing anyway? That doesn't make any sense. Let's read this. Trump's order to the IRS means paying taxes could look different next year. If you're someone who prefers getting your tax refund or paying taxes the old-fashioned way, that process might be changing soon. Trump administration executive order issued March 25th requires that all payments be made electronically by late September. So this next time we go in to pay taxes, you won't be able to send a check in. It's going to be all electronic. Now, at the end of the show, I'll tell you where all this is headed, because what they're really doing here is revamping the tax revenue and how that's collected and how it's managed. And it's all with artificial intelligence. And so in order to do that, they have to get rid of anything where a human has to touch anything. That's what's really happening. I don't think that Trump's going to get rid of income tax. That's a carrot that he's dangling to get us to accept everything that comes before that. No more paper checks. I know many of you probably send in a paper check. I did that for years because, you know why? Because I didn't want the government attached to my bank account, because the next step after that is that they don't even contact you. They just go into your bank account and start taking money out. And so it was nice to have like a stopgap, you know, some kind of wall up to where they have to ask you to get their money. Now, if you haven't learned by now, Trump is basically one of the first presidents who has aggressively now gone after garnishing people's wages for multiple reasons. He's stopped people's Social Security checks who he's felt have been overpaid, garnishing their wages to get that money back. He's now garnishing wages for people that owe money to for school loans. And he's being very aggressive about this. Now, understand this is not because our government needs the money. This is a control mechanism. Okay, this is to establish control and dominance. This is a property grab, because many of these people might own a property that now they can't afford to maintain the taxes on. And all of that goes back to the government. Now, what else is going on? Now, there's this brand new study that they say they can now detect visible light inside of your soul. Now, this is pretty interesting. Your life force is visible with the naked eye. A faint visible light, they say, disappears when you die. Now, we're going to read this to see if it lines up with what the Bible says, because the Bible says, or Jesus in his own words said, that the eye of your body is like a lamp and it like shines. And also that you could either be full of light or you could be full of darkness. So there is a light to our soul. And I believe this, I take this a step further, that the light inside of you is a miniature version of a star. The book of Enoch says that the stars in heaven shine as brightly as the righteousness of the righteous. So if you're righteous, you look up in the sky, there could be a star that kind of represents you, or it's kind of maybe your future gift, maybe after we go to heaven. And so I think that's comforting and that's nice, isn't it? But let's read this article and see if all this jives. It says here, life truly is radiant, according to an experiment conducted by researchers in Calgary, University of Calgary in Canada. Extraordinary experiment on mice and leaves from two different plant species has uncovered direct physical evidence of an eerie biophoton phenomenon ceasing on death, suggesting all living things, including humans, could literally glow with health until we don't. Finding might seem a little fringe at first glance. It's hard not to associate scientific investigations into biological electromagnetic emissions with debunked and paranormal claims of auras and discharges surrounding living organisms. What's more, even in theory, visible wavelengths of light emitted by biological processes ought to be so faint that it's easily swamped by the intense shine of ambient electromagnetic waves in the environment. Still, University of Calgary physicist Vahid Salari and his team have claimed to observe just that, an ultra-weak photon emission produced by several living animals in strong contrast with their non-living bodies, as well as in a handful of plant leaves. Wow. Chemoluminescence. Now, what's weird is if you think about this, there's such a thing as the dark side version of this, which would be the luciferase, right? That might be the false light compared to this, which is the true light of the Spirit of God, maybe inside of each of us, inside of life, because He created us. Now, what else is going on? Well, I believe that the controllers know this. They know that we have a light inside of us. They know that it may have similar characteristics to a star, the stars in heaven. They know that it may be our link to our star in heaven. And I believe that the control mechanism that they are setting up is to control your inner star. What do you mean, Casey? Well, do you think it's an accident that Trump developed Stargate? Do you think it's an accident that Elon Musk wants to link the stars with Starlink? Everything is about controlling the star, which is all of us, each of our souls. The Stargate is a prison. It's a star prison. Starlink is above. It's a sky prison. They've got us below and above, just like we have an inner star below here on earth and a star above in the heavens when we are one day reunited with God's kingdom, the true kingdom. So they're literally creating a micro kingdom down here. Exactly what the Bible says, that they will elevate themselves or try to above the Most High. Trump literally creating his own firmament with the Golden Dome, creating a star gate, a star prison below, under the dome. Elon Musk creating a sky prison with Skylink. The pieces seem to fit, don't they? Now, for some time, let's get into the rest of these stories here. For some time, we believe that somehow Trump is orchestrating many of the things that we've brought up and suggested on this channel long before he implemented them or even spoke them into existence. There's one of two things happening with this phenomenon. Either they're watching the channel, which I don't have an ego that big where I think that they would be doing that, or God is preempting his chess moves and showing us that he's going to do them before he does them, so that people can wake up to the lie, wake up to the truth. Well, here's another one, another nod to our channel. You all know how long I've been talking about cutting off the benefits that the immigrants are receiving and that they would all go home. And I told you that a wall was pointless until the wall's not pointless. I told you that it was pointless to try to continue to enforce immigration if we keep giving out handouts. And I told you that under national security, we should be able to force the states not to give out any more benefits. It should be national security. We should preempt any state rights and force them to remove all incentives for every state, even liberal states. And this is exactly what Trump's doing right now. Now, do you guys remember when I said this? I just want to be clear here so people don't know I'm not just making all this up. For clicks and views, this is the truth. Do you guys remember this discussion? Let me get an okay on that, and we'll move forward, and I'll read the article of what he's going to do. This is insane. You guys, this is like probably the 10th time now where we've talked about something and then Trump does it. Again, I'm going to give the credit to the Holy Spirit and the Most High. I don't believe Trump's sitting on here watching this channel and then implementing our policies. I don't believe that's happening. So, what do you guys think about that? So, Lisa remembers. Okay, good. Now, let's read this. So, Trump is literally investigating California's benefits to immigrants. Critics say its claims are misleading. The Trump administration announced Monday that it is launching an investigation into California's cash assistance program for immigrants. We spoke specifically about this. A state program that provides monthly cash benefits to a small number of aged, blind, and disabled non-citizens who it claims are ineligible for Social Security benefits due to their immigration status. Now, this Cash for Immigrants cash assistance program is obviously much more widespread than they're pitching it here. They're just giving out cash to all illegals to try to spite Trump, right? And this continues the flow of immigrants into places like California who know they can show up and get hotel rooms and cash and debit cards and all these things. The investigation began in Los Angeles with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, Los Angeles field office issuing a Title 8 subpoena to California's cash assistance program for immigrants. According to the department, the subpoena requests all records from LA County Department of Public Social Services, the agency that administers the state program, to determine if ineligible immigrants received supplemental security income from the Social Security Administration over the last 4 years. And then they go on with the right-left paradigm. Radical left politicians in California prioritize illegal aliens over our own citizens, which is true, but it's all been by design so that Trump can undo it, and then we get the rest of what comes with that, the police state, which is happening right now. Trump administration is working together to identify abuse and exploitation of public benefits and make sure those in the country illegally are not receiving federal benefits or other financial incentives to stay illegally. Like literally, Christy Nome took this was a quote right off of the channel. That's unbelievable. I'm just in shock right now. Wow. So, again, good thing. But what is the end game with this? What is the end game? Now, what else is going on? Now, if you haven't already heard by now, this is actually funny. Antarctica has been gaining ice for the last several years, but scientists are saying that doesn't mean that it's the end of global warming. Literally, you could walk up to these people and tell them the sky is orange, and they'll tell you it's purple. Or that's probably a bad example, but you know what I'm getting at here. How much longer are people going to believe this nonsense? As Antarctica is now getting way colder and more ice is building up, suggesting that I don't even think there was any global warming to begin with. That was human caused anyway. That's my personal belief system. You don't have to agree with that, but I think it's natural fluctuations, not caused by anything we're doing. Okay. To assume that we as humans have the power. I mean, the Bible does say that God will ruin those who are ruining the earth. So maybe, but I don't know. I just don't agree with what they're doing. And all of this is leading to a control mechanism. That's the whole purpose behind this concept that we are changing the environment. It's all about control, so they can control every detail of your life, while they ignore the fact that the rich are the ones creating the very things they're lecturing us not to do. And they won't do anything about the rich. They want to control your life and how you use things, while they use things however they want and create the standard of everything that they're telling us we're doing wrong. You see how this works? NASA satellites show Antarctica has gained ice despite rising global temperatures. Really? How is this possible? Patrick Pester. Okay, we're going to pester him right now. Antarctica has gained ice in the recent years despite increasing average global temperatures and climate change, new study finds. Using data, let's read it in the news voice. Using data from NASA satellites, researchers from Tongji University in Shanghai track changes in Antarctica's ice sheet over more than 2 decades. The overall trend is one of substantial ice loss on the continent. But from 2021 to 2023, Antarctica gained some of that lost ice back. However, this isn't a sign that global warming and climate change have miraculously reversed. Picture a long ski slope with a small jump at the end. The buildings fell on their own footprint because of increased temperature and then melted the steel, which caused them to fall. I mean, that's what a line through the Antarctic ice sheet data looks like when plotted on a graph. Well, there have been some reason. Okay, I can't even do this anymore. Wow. Okay, so there you go. This is the world we live in now, you guys. This is the world we live in. 20 years, the world was supposed to end 20 years ago, right? All the ice was supposed to melt, and we were all supposed to drown in water world. And who was it? Kevin Costner was supposed to save us all by swimming around like a fish. They even had a Universal Studios like special effects show of Waterworld. This was supposed to be our future, right? None of that happened, of course. I can go back to the same beaches that I grew up on, and it's the same coastline. Nothing's changed. The water hasn't gone up in the last 35, 40 years. It's just dumb, okay? And everybody knows it. There is such a thing as erosion, but nothing is going back up. I can go to the same rock in Shell Beach, California, that I remember from 30 years ago, and the same rock will still be there. It will be eroded, but the water will have been at the same level that it was from before. So that's the truth of the matter. Now, let's get into some of these other stories here. Oh my gosh. Well, Casey, government efficiency is great. I applaud Elon Musk for saving us billions of dollars, even if he fell far short of his goals. Well, I don't agree with that. Ever wonder why a person like Elon Musk would be qualified to run an efficiency arm of the government? He's not. What makes him qualified to do that? Now, what he was and is qualified to do is to convert jobs into artificial intelligence. And this is exactly what they've been working on for a very long time. They won't tell you that, but this is what they've been working on. This goes all the way back to the Biden presidency. This article is dated June 6th, 2024, before they even knew that Trump was going to win. Interesting, it's 6-6, right? Because this is the twinning. So they're getting rid of humans in the IRS, and they're turning it into artificial intelligence. So now we can call the IRS, we can call it the AIRS, the Artificial Intelligence Revenue Service. Now, if you think all this is a good idea, you're sadly mistaken. So Biden got the ball rolling. Well, he didn't. The deep state got it rolling, and Trump opened the floodgates and let it all in as Elon Musk came in and fired everybody and then started to continue to implement artificial intelligence in the IRS. Wow. Well, Casey, that's a good thing because everything will be fair now. There won't be human error. Really? You really think that they're going to make a fair tax system just because AI is running it? No, they will not. Let me tell you what's going to happen. AI will find every single little mistake on your tax return. Anything that looks suspicious will be run through an algorithm, and every single tax return that it doesn't think looks quite right, they will hunt down every single penny, every single dime for people like you and me. Because think about it. There's no more time being spent by a person. This is all run by computers. It will be 100% enforcement. It will garnish wages. It will send you nasty letters. It will place liens on your property effortlessly, even if the AI has made a mistake. And there will be nobody to call to complain or appeal. It will all be done through computers. Even a few $100 discrepancy, or let's say you accidentally added too many miles, or they say, oh, you charged too many miles. You logged too many miles compared to last year. We're going to audit you. This is what it will do. IT, information technology, is it. It's an entity of oppression. Nothing will be overlooked anymore. 100% enforcement. And there will be no recourse. There will be a robot that runs your fuel purchases against the mileage you claim. And what about receipts? I hope you kept every single one, because audits will now be effortless for the AIRS. They'll probably make you upload your receipts to a database. I mean, it's going to be a nightmare. And again, when you need to dispute something, when you dispute an audit or speak to somebody, there'll be nobody to talk to except the chat GPT. You'll be stuck in an endless loop of threats, claims, garnished wages, and liens. Now, oh, Casey, this will never happen. Well, it already happened to me. Some artificial intelligence, because one of my 1099 forms went to California by accident because I forgot to change the address, which is just plain stupid, right? That's just stupid. It went to California and they said, oh, because of that one form you forgot to change, that means you made money in California in like 5 years ago. And now you owe us $300. Oh, not going to pay it? Now you owe us $400. Now you owe us $500. Tried to call, tried to send in all the stuff, but there's nobody on the other end. And then everything just keeps going up with interest. So you just pay it. You pay it because you realize you want to close this problem off because you know that it's a racket. You know it's a racket. Now imagine that times 100. So now the reason why we don't want robots running the IRS is the same reason why we don't want robots running our police. It's tyranny. It's draconian. It's too much power. It's unfair. And none of us wants to live in a reality where laws and rules are 100% enforced. Nobody. Let's read this. Again, this article was dated before Trump even won the second time. Biden was already working on this. And now Elon Musk came in and finished the deal. Hundreds of billions of dollars are potentially missing from what should be collected in taxes each year. Known as the tax gap. This money is the difference between what is owed and what is paid by taxpayers. IRS's use of artificial intelligence may help close the gap. How big is the tax gap and how does IRS currently estimate it? $496 billion for 2021. The tax gap was expected to grow to $688 billion. That's billions of missing dollars. So first they throw out there the problem. Oh, we could apply that to Medicare and Medicaid. We're missing out on tax dollars, right? This is the justification that they're giving to bring in a robot to basically steal your money. You might be asking, why is IRS most recent estimates a decade old? Or why IRS is projecting missing payments for years that have already passed? The time lag is a result of the time it takes to audit taxpayers' returns. Once taxpayers file returns, the IRS must select returns to be audited, complete those audits, and validate results before a final estimate can be created. AI may provide some additional tools to help the IRS better understand and estimate the tax gap. How is artificial intelligence helping? Here's the meat of the article. Using a new AI model could help IRS identify those taxpayers who are most likely to skip out. So this is like pre-crime. Wow. Or not pay taxes they owe. AI won't solve all of IRS's tax gap problems. IRS will need to use multiple approaches to reduce the tax gap. Annual audits. Each year, IRS selects a group of taxpayers to audit as part of its research into tax compliance trends. AI models are already being used to help select a representative sample of tax important for helping IRS to better understand situations. Blah, 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 blah. Notice how it doesn't say anything about focusing on the people where the IRS could get the most money back, which would be the billionaires and millionaires who are already cheating the tax system, right? Doesn't say anything about that. This is going to be for everybody. So, a monetary prison. Now, this last story is crazy. This will be the last story of the day. Mo money, mo problems, right? 1 Timothy 6, 9, and 10 says, but those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So, the love of money causes you to feel like you're being pierced with many sorrows. Well, look what happened to this daughter of a crypto billionaire in Paris. Let's play this here. Pregnant on the streets of Paris.
This is the spot where on Tuesday morning, 4 masked men attempted to kidnap the daughter and grandson of a prominent French crypto boss, according to police. And it was all caught on camera. The video shows them fighting back and screaming for help. You can hear the woman shouting, "Aidez-moi, help me," as she grabs an object that appears to be a gun and throws it in the street. It turned out to be a fake, according to BFM TV. Now, a shopkeeper, now being hailed as a hero, ran out with a fire extinguisher, forcing the attackers to flee in a white van. The family was treated for minor injuries, according to BFM TV. Police believe the...
And why would they gray out the van? Like, that's weird. Like, it's almost like they're protecting the criminals. Do you see this? Let's back this up a little bit. They literally grayed out the identifying features on the van.
Police believe the attackers were targeting them because of their ties to cryptocurrency. AFP reports the woman's father is the CEO of Paymium, a French crypto exchange. The Paris prosecutor has opened an investigation into attempted kidnapping by an organized gang, aggravated assault, and criminal conspiracy. This is the fourth attempted crypto-related abduction in France in just 6 months. In one case, a victim's finger was severed. The interior...
Why are they graying out the video? This is crazy, right? This is insane. Can you imagine if this happened to you? I mean, again, most of the people that come to this channel, we don't have a lot of money, right? But a lot of people do, and they become a target. Now, how did the Bible know this? How did the Bible predict that these kinds of things would happen to people who seek after money? Well, let's talk about that. I believe it's because there's this thing called the rest of us with no money, right? And the few who have most of the money accumulated, it's not natural to accumulate resources and money. It's not within the natural order of things. Somebody else is always going to want that money or resources, aren't they? And the more money you have, the bigger target you become. Now, we see this in nature, don't we? What happens when you see a lion on a carcass that's way too big for the lion to eat? Well, it's not too long before the lion has to literally defend its kill to the rest of nature. You get all kinds of scavengers, other lions show up. We've all seen the videos in Africa of how this happens. And this is because in nature, it's almost impossible to store things up for yourself, isn't it? Now, this is why rich people have so much security. All the while they're lecturing us about how we don't have the right to our own security. They've got money, all the way through to for their security. So let's dig a level deeper into this topic because there's a little bit more to this. I believe the true core of the problem is the way the economic system is set up that allows for the few to accumulate all the money. It's basically a parlor trick. Excuse me. They set up the system and they have the secret to wealth and they never ever share it with the rest of us, but they give us the illusion that it's just out of reach. And then they double down by capitalizing on people's desire to have money by selling us the dream right back to us. Now, Trump was a master at this. A lot of his money came from dangling the carrot to the rest of us, right? With his Apprentice TV show and all of his get-rich-quick books and flaunting a lie about how he alone built what he has. We all know it came from his father's real estate empire, tens of millions of dollars, which back then made him pretty much a billionaire back then in today's standards. But he makes it sound like he went from rags to riches. And then people believe this nonsense. Now, here's what the rich will tell you. They will tell you that you have to spend thousands of dollars to learn how to get rich. And it's only because you're not investing in yourself. You're not doing self-improvement. In order to become rich, you have to do all these things first. You have to buy our books and our courses. And then They tell you that you have to get in on the ground level of a pyramid scheme. You just have to make the right bets. And really, it's all just a parlor trick that they're basically vampirizing and feeding off of you even more on the hope that you can become rich too. Yes, the monetary system was designed to allow only a few to accumulate wealth. And there's stopgaps and programming in place to prevent the rest of us from leveling up. This is why when you go to college, there are 0 classes on how to become a billionaire. You know, a class where there would be like alumni who followed the steps that can actually prove that the formula worked. Wouldn't that be something pretty simple to do? But they won't do that. They won't tell the rest of us how to do it. You see, there's a reason to this, because billionaires actually depend on a permanent underclass. They need slaves to maintain their empires. They need wages to stay low, disproportionately low compared to the amount of profit they make, and they need to keep the populace uninformed. This is why they took over crypto. Because people were becoming billionaires overnight. Now, in the beginning, not billionaires, but millionaires. In the beginning, you know, when everything was unregulated, you could do that. But then what did they do? They brought in the influencers and they made up these fake coins, pump and dump. Who suffered from that? Have any of you on this channel made millions of dollars on crypto? No, nobody has. Essentially what they did is they changed the system to vampirize the few who were slightly invested in crypto. And then the rich people took everyone's money, is pretty much what happened. So it was the same thing all over again. Okay. Notice how few crypto millionaires and billionaires there are that are in the truth community. Almost none that I know of. Because if there were, we would be hearing about it, wouldn't we? Now, I knew a person once, I'm not going to say their name, but throughout their life, they fell for every single pyramid scheme. Laundry balls, Amway, took every leadership class and probably spent in some total close to $50,000 getting scammed over and over again with courses and fake pyramid schemes. And every single time, it sounds convincing, doesn't it? They said, on the right track now. On the right track to becoming wealthy. They would always try to drive a certain car or carry a certain air of wealth, even though there was no wealth, to try to project the illusion of wealth. And to this day, this person is still broke, putting undue stress on the people around them who are living in reality. And so the Bible was correct, isn't it? It's better to set up a practical, more humble existence focused on spiritual things of heaven, free from risk, free from debt to the beast, and ultimately free from the pain of temporary gain. I hope this video today helped some people, because otherwise you're just stabbing yourself all over your body with many pain by seeking after riches. All right, I'm in the chat, you guys. That was pretty much the show today. What else is going on? Mega train wreck, says Roy. Now, we're under the illusion that if you store up wealth, it gives you some kind of security, long-term security. That's simply not the case. The more money you have, the more you have to manage and protect that money. The more insurance premiums you have to pay, the more taxes you have to pay. It's an endless loop of work. And by the end of it, all you're doing is managing your work and your money. Who wants to do that every day? I don't. I want to think about plants and the sunlight on my face. I want to think about fishing. I don't want to be sitting around thinking about money all the time and protecting it. and a bunch of bills coming in and attorneys and all that crap. So less is more. Absolutely 100%, Joy. You want the least amount of attorneys in your life and bills coming in and insurance. This is why the Bible says the least is the greatest and the greatest is the least. Because the people that have the least have more time to focus on the things of heaven, don't they? And the people that have the most have zero time to think about the things of heaven. So never feel bad about your position in life. Don't feel bad because you feel like you have not achieved something. Because in terms of heaven's litmus tests, you are the greatest. I love each and every one of you, and I'm glad you showed up today. Likely see you guys tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to do tomorrow, but have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and be safe, you guys.